Good morning, students. Today we are going to start next chapter, that is modern concept of organic evolution or neo-Darwinism. Three research developments that help to understand inheritance and evolution better than before. Which are that three research developments? First one is the invention of powerful microscope. Second one, use of very short-lived organism, because as we are using very short lifespan organisms for various experiments, we will get the result very fast. That's other advancement. And the third one is the application of different scientific methods in our experiments, that also give us a very good result. Okay, these are the three developments that help to understand inheritance and evolution very well. Next, synthetic theory of evolution. What is synthetic theory of evolution? Theory of evolution is actually a combination of concepts of two scientists. Which are the scientists? Charles Darwin and Gregor Mendel. Charles Darwin's concept of natural selection and Gregor Mendel's concept of genetics. A combination of these two is synthetic theory. And the synthetic theory of evolution gave a complete understanding of genetic changes. Who are the developers of synthetic theory? They were Dobzhansky, Huxley, Mayer, Simpson, Goldsmith, Fisher, etc. So many are there. Then in the synthetic theory of evolution, five basic processes that play very important role. Which are those processes? Recombination, mutation, gene flow, natural selection, then last is gene frequency changes. All these processes play important role in the synthetic theory of evolution. They play important part in evolution. Okay, next, genetic basis of evolution. Main sources of genetic variation are these five forces. Its name I already mentioned in the former slide. Again, I am repeating: recombination, mutation, gene flow, natural selection, and gene frequency changes. All these things, these processes, we are going to see one by one separately. And all these forces pave way for genetic variations or evolution. Okay, what is recombination? Recombination means a new combination is forming in the gene. It produces new gene combinations when combined with the old one. In that way, create a new individual. And this recombination occurs during the time of meiosis. And usually this recombination occurs in distantly located genes. That is more convenient, more possible. Distantly located. Very adjacent genes cannot recombine each other. Okay, that's recombination. Next, mutation. Mutation we are going to see. Mutation we know what's a, is a sudden change happen to a gene. Um, and because of this mutation, new genetic materials are adding to gene pool. What is gene pool? Gene pool I will show you. Suppose this is a population. Now we can see red frog is there, green frogs are there, blue frogs are there. Correspondingly, its representative genes, if we taken together, that will constitute the gene pool of this population. Understand? A population is there, and if we are taking each gene representing each individual of that population, then that collection is called a gene pool. Okay, so To this gene pool, because of mutation, it is possible to add new genetic material. And whatever new modified form is forming, it is subjected to natural selection. And so many mutations are happening in population, and only profitable ones are transferred to next generation. And most oftenly mutations are harmful. Then we are going to see the types of mutation. Gene mutation or point mutation is there, and chromosomal mutation is there. Gene mutation. What is gene mutation? With an example, T.H. Morgan explained gene mutation. The normal wild Drosophila melanogaster is with a red dye. Red dye we can see here. Red dye. But because of mutation, very accidentally another type also originated. That is with a white eye. Here we can see it's a white eye, white-eyed one. This is because of mutation, as suggested by T.H. Morgan. He proved that gene mutation is responsible for the appearance of white-eyed Drosophila melanogaster. And these gene mutations are spontaneous. It is occurring by its own. And reverse mutations are also there. Reverse mutation means a gene is there, it is mutated to form. I will show you. Reverse mutation means originally there is a gene. Suppose it is like this, and it is mutated to form A. Then again it is mutated to become the original form itself. This type of mutation is called a reverse mutation, because once it is mutated and then it is mutated back to its original form. That is reverse mutation. Um, then what is the nature of gene mutation? Usually all gene mutations are recessive. Then when will it appear? When will it appear in the next generation? Only if inbreeding is happen. Inbreeding means we can very clearly understand that whenever marriages happen between relatives, some diseases are happening to their next generation offspring. For example, cerebral palsy is one such case. Consanguineous marriages means marriages between the relatives that usually bring out the effect of mutation that happens, that being in recessive condition, that recessive gene become expressive when inbreeding happens. Clear? Then which are the inducing agents of mutation? They are UV light is there, X-rays are there, and mustard gas also there. What is mustard gas? Mustard gas means it is actually a chemical that is used in war field. It is an irritant. It causes some burning sensation in the skin. That is mustard gas. Gene mutation is over. We are going to see next chromosomal mutation. What is chromosomal mutation? Chromosomal mutation means there are some changes. Changes with respect to what? With respect to number, size and organization of chromosome. With regard to any of these things, any change if happen, then we can call it as a chromosomal mutation. Change in number of chromosome. Is there any change in the size of the chromosome? Is there any change in the organization of the chromosome? If any of this happen, then we can call it as a which type of mutation? Chromosomal mutation. And at what time, in which phase this chromosomal mutation can happen? during zygote formation. A zygote formation means after the fusion between the gamete, what will form? Zygote. During the zygote formation, there stands for getting this chromosomal mutation. Several types of chromosomal mutations are there. First one, euploidy. Euploidy means, look in this picture. This is a diploid condition. Means n is equal to 4. N is equal to 4 means n is equal to 4. This is the haploid number. Haploid number or haploidy. Haploidy means half set of chromosome. In our cell, I will show, in our single cell 23 pairs. Okay, totally 23 plus 23, 46 chromosome we have. And this 23 pairs is called the haploid number. Okay, and similarly here also the haploid number is 4. As it become diploid, then it become 4 plus 4, 8. This is a diploid condition. Then I am explaining what is euploidy. Euploidy means this is 2n. 2n diploid. Euploidy means multiplication of an entire set. Look here, additional one complete set is here. So this is 3n. If any other further addition happen, it can become 4n, like that way. This type of multiplication of an entire set of chromosomes called euploid. Clear? I will give the definition. Euploid means a chromosome number that's the exact multiple of the haploid number of the species. One set is exactly multiplying. That is called euploidy or euploid. Exact haploid number getting multiplied means exact a single set is multiplied. That is euploidy. Next, aneuploidy. Aneuploidy means, look in this picture. In this picture, only one. This chromosome is drawn with a different color, somewhat gray color. So, aneuploidy means it is the abnormal number of chromosome with respect to a particular chromosome, not with respect to entire set. Only a particular chromosome, its number become abnormal. Look here, in the place of 1, and that particular chromosome's number become 3. That is abnormal. That is aneuploidy. It is relating with the abnormality in number of a particular chromosome, not the entire set. We'll show that. Aneuploidy is the presence of abnormal number of chromosome in a cell. For example, human cell normally have 46. Instead of that, if a cell has 45 or 47, then we can call it is having aneuploidy. Then aneuploidy is of two types. Monosomy. Monosomy means in 46, if we are taking the case of human, instead of 46, that that individuals one cell and not one cell, each cell possess only 45, means from the 46 one chromosome lost. That condition is monosomy. 46 minus 1, monosomy, one chromosome lost. Show you, this is the example is Turner syndrome, and here we can see that normal condition, what is one Turner syndrome means missing of X chromosome. In female or if it is a male, either of these cases, a single chromosome, X chromosome is missing. That is the condition. One chromosome is missing. Turner syndrome. missing of X chromosome. Okay, actually 2X is required here, but instead of that required 2, that patient have only 1 X chromosome. Then trisomy. Trisomy means 1 chromosome is more. That means instead of 46, 47 will be the chromosome number in that case. Trisomy I will show here. Trisomy happens here for 21st chromosome. Instead of having 2 chromosome, 2 not X, 2 chromosome, instead of having 21st chromosome, that patient have 3. Understand? And this is the 21st chromosome. Usually a pair is required. Only 2 should be present, but instead of that an additional X is there. So here the trisomy happened to which chromosome? 21st chromosome. Okay. Then nullisomy. Nulli means nothing. What is happening in this process? Look in this picture. Meiosis, during meiosis, diploid condition, and the first meiosis, normally what is required means the these are the 2 cells. Uh, one of this chromosome need to be segregated to this cell, but actually without going to here, it is moving to this cell. So that's why this cell is not having any chromosome. So from this, those cells will form without any chromosome. They are called nullisomic. That is a process. Nullisomy. Nullisomy, I will show you. Nullisomy means is the loss of 2 chromosomes. That is loss of a chromosome as a pair itself. As a result of that, both the homologous chromosomes, I will show you, both the homologous chromosomes, instead of segregating, they move to same pole. Actually, it need to segregate to opposite pole. Instead of that, they segregate to same pole during meiosis 1, and this will produce trisomic gametes. At the same time, the counterpart, the other half, will produce with the no gametes. That condition is called nullisomy. Okay, that's about the chromosomal mutation. Then structural changes to chromosome. Organizational difference changes. Wow. First process is inversion. Inversion means, look here in this picture. Uh, here, this gene segment, it is rotating, and as a result of that rotation, see the position of genes here when compared with this one. Here the green color is in the lowermost region, but as a result of that rotation, that green region comes in the top. So that is inversion. A segment of chromosome is reverse end to 8, rotating. And this inversion occurs when a single chromosome undergoes breakage and rearrangement within itself. When this inversion is happening, whenever there is breakage and rearrangement within the chromosome. Next is duplication. Duplication, as the name implicating, it is the doubling of gene. It's a type of mutation that involves production of one or more copies of a gene or a region of a chromosome. Look in this picture. Here in this picture, only this much genes are here. But as a result of duplication, this is the actual segment, additional segment is forming. A duplication of a certain region is forming in the chromosome. That process is called duplication. Okay. Next, deletion. Deletion is another process that causes structural changes in chromosome. Deletion means in this picture it's very clear that this portion is lost here, and the resulting chromosome is short when compared with this one. Means this segment is lost. That is deletion. Deletion is a type of mutation involving loss of genetic material. It involves the loss of genetic material. Can be small, involving a single base pair, or large involving a piece. That's about difference happening in structural organization in chromosome. The neutral mutation are also there. So mutations, which all types are there? We have already learned about gene mutation, chromosomal mutation. The last one is neutral mutation. What is neutral mutation means? Even if mutation happen, it will not cause any effect in that individual. If or it's not causing an effect, not causing any effect in the fitness of the individual. That means even if a mutation happens in an individual, because of that mutation, the individual doesn't need to suffer anything for with regard to its sustenance. It is perfectly fit with regard to its environment. That is neutral mutation. For example, CGU is a nucleotide. These are bases: cytosine, guanine, uracil. And to this nucleotide, a neutral mutation is happening. Mutation means what is happening here? The last U is mutated, and in the place of uracil, what is coming and binding is adenine. So even if adenine come in the place of uracil, then also there is not much problem happen, because the third, we know that the third base doesn't have any role in determining which amino acid it needs to code. Understand? Third base have no role in determining the amino acid it need to code. So whatever change is happening to the third position, it will not cause any effect. That is this example. Such type of mutation is called a synonymous mutation. Synonymous. Why it is called synonymous? Because these two nucleotides codes for same amino acid, even if have a change in the third position. It is synonymous. Then non-synonymous mutations are also there. That means there are some mutation. As a result of that type of mutation, the amino acid coding by those sequence will be different, but they are of similar, and also perform same function. If you mistake function, that even if the amino acid coding by that modified two bases are not exactly same, but they are similar, and also they perform same function. That type of mutation are called a non-synonymous mutation. Next is gene flow. Is the another force that control synthetic evolution. What is gene flow? Look, this is one population, and this is the second population. This is one of green individuals, and this one of brown. And somehow a different organism, a brown one, is immigrating, entering this green population. It entered this population and start to mate with the members of the local population, and this will add new genes to its gene pool. This process is called gene flow. What is gene flow? Gene flow, whenever a new organism enter in a population and it start to mate with the with the local population, new alleles will add to the gene pool. It's called a gene flow. Next, formation of fertile hybrids. Hybrid means crossing. It's a result of crossing between related species. Sometimes crossing between related but different species can produce fertile individuals. There's fertile hybrids. For examples, uh, liger means is an offspring between male lion and female tiger. So look its appearance. Another example is Tigon is offspring of male tiger and female lion. Is the offspring. Okay, that is formation of fertile hybrids. That is next. Another term is there. Uh, Horizontal gene transfer. What is horizontal gene transfer? It is otherwise called uh, lateral gene transfer. Horizontal gene transfer is otherwise called a lateral gene transfer. And it is a transmission of DNA. This also involves the transmission of DNA between different genomes. DNA is transferred. And DNA usually it belongs to that of some extra genetic material like plasmids or transposon. This DNA or genetic material is usually transferring between different organisms. Okay, and horizontal gene transfer. It is different from transmission of genetic material from parent to offspring during reproduction. That is our normal reproduction process. What is happening here? In normal reproduction, genetic material is transferring from parent to offspring. Okay, normal usual reproduction, genetic material is transferring from parents to offspring. But in this lateral or horizontal gene transfer, it is different from this normal procedure. It is called, it means the usual exchange of genetic material through the normal pathway of reproduction. It is called the vertical gene transfer, and the unusual method is called horizontal or lateral gene transfer. Then what is that unusual method and what genetic material is transferring? That is extra chromosomal DNAs like plasmids and transposons are usually transferring uh, between the organisms. And these genetic materials are usually transferred through different mechanisms like transformation, conjugation, and transduction. Okay, that is the method for horizontal gene transfer. I think it's clear. Horizontal is otherwise called lateral gene transfer. Our normal reproduction is the process in which genetic material is transferring from parent to offspring. But here, some genetic material, especially plasmids or transposons, they are transferring from one organism to another or from one organelle to another through different methods like transformation, conjugation, and transduction. Picture is given here. Dead bacteria from its bacterial chromosome is coming out, is entering through the process of transformation to another bacteria. It is incorporating into its genome. Here from this bacteria also some other phages are coming out. It by process of transduction it is incorporating to this bacteria. Then from here also some plasmids are moving from this bacteria to this bacteria through the process of conjugation. These are all showing horizontal gene transfer. Next force that is controlling the synthetic evolution is natural selection. What is natural selection? Natural selection is actually a selection by nature for uh, more adapted one. The better adapted one will be selected and the other one become eliminated. In this example, we can see that in the initial phase, there is only giraffes with a short neck. Then, because of the requirements, length increases and finally it becomes this much length, and this is selected by nature. So, natural selection is the differential survival and reproduction of individual. Means, with regard to survival value, these three different forms differ in their survival rate and their reproduction rate because of their different phenotype. It is a key mechanism of evolution. Then we are just telling about what's the role, what is Hardy-Weinberg law, what it states, type 2 states. It is trying to explain that or to confirm that different genotypes, also an example for different genotype, they all will contribute equally. They all will contribute equally to next generation. But actually, it's not possible. So that's why natural selection is against this statement. Hardy-Weinberg law states that different genotypes contribute equally to the next generation. But it's not possible. That's why natural selection is against this statement. Next, another thing, gene frequency changes. The last force that is explaining about evolution. First, we need to understand what is gene pool. It's very important and can be asked as 1 mark question also for the examination. Gene pool. This is a gene pool is a collection of different genes within an interbreeding population. It's an interbreeding population, and gene pool is a collection of different genes from this interbreeding population. That's gene pool. Then what is gene frequency? Frequency is the what is the approximate number of a particular gene with respect to the total number of gene present in a population. I will explain that in detail. Gene frequency, it is otherwise called the allele frequency. It is the relative frequency of an allele. We are considering a particular allele like A. Allele like A. We are considering what is its number, total number in a big population. That is the frequency with regard to this gene. So then what is allele frequency or gene frequency? is the relative frequency of an allele at a particular locus in a population. Okay, different chromosome, different loci. Loci means the position where genes are located. We need to understand what is the frequency of this particular allele on a particular locus with respect to different chromosomes. Then we check and I understand that with respect to different chromosome, the number of this particular allele is 1, 2, 3, 4. When compared with the total number of genes in this loci is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Out of this 6, 4 will be of the considered allele. That is its frequency. 4 is its frequency. Gene frequency or allelic frequency. Okay. Then genotype frequency. What is genotype frequency? Genotype frequency means similar to gene frequency. Here we are considering the genotype. Genotype means uh, what is the composition of a particular gene and what is the number of that type of gene in a population. Here we are considering only a single allele. Here we are considering a gene entirely means genotype. Genotype and phenotype. Is it clear for you? I will explain. A. It represents tallness. Then tallness is the phenotype and this is the genotype. There is a difference between genotype and phenotype. So, if we consider a population and if we are try to understand what is the frequency of particular genotype in this population, that number is called genotype frequency. Okay, frequency will show you the proportion of a particular genotype. Here we are taking two genotype AA. Capital A controls or give black hair color. Small a give brown hair color. So population. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are having this AA means responsible for black hair color. And the rest of the population is having small a, it gives brown hair color. Then we are checking, understanding what is the proportion of this genotype with regard to other genotype in this population. That number is called genotype frequency. Okay. Next, what is genetic drift? This is also very important. What is genetic drift? Genetic drift means it's a mechanism of evolution. It is a mechanism of evolution. What is happening here? In which allele frequency of a population, because all population have a certain allele frequency. That allele frequency, it will change after so many generations because of some chance or sampling error. That change is called genetic drift. Look in this picture. Here some red flies are there and blue flies are there. What is the ratio? 5 is to 1. 5 is to 5. 5 red, 5 blue. Somehow some blue flies have been destroyed. And then their ratio become 5 is to 1. 5 red and 1 blue only remains here. And then they undergo reproduction because there is more chance to increase the number of red flies here. So that's happened in coming generation. Number of red flies increases. That's 10 is to 2. So when compared with the initial ratio, is a drastic change. called genetic drift. Then we are moving to another section, that is Hardy-Weinberg law, very very important. Anyhow, some or other type of question, maybe at least 4 mark, 2 mark, 1 mark. From all these sections, there is questions are coming for the examinations. Very important. What is Hardy-Weinberg law or equilibrium? What is the mathematical expression? In many way, questions can come from this part. So it's very important. Illustration. I will show you how we can explain Hardy-Weinberg law. What is Hardy-Weinberg? It is a mathematical treatment. It's a mathematical way of treatment. A treatment of what? Of the distribution of gene frequency and genotype frequency. What is gene frequency? What is genotype frequency? We already understand. It is a mathematical treatment of distribution of gene frequency and genotype frequency. Distribution means what's the number. If we consider a population, what is the gene frequency with regard to a particular gene, or what is the genotype frequency with regard to a particular genotype. It's mathematical representation. So Hardy-Weinberg is the mathematical treatment of the distribution of gene frequency and genotype frequency. So if we consider that a population, and this is the relative frequency of different genes. A is 3A, 4B is there, and 2C is there. Such a population, 3A, 4B and 2C. Such a large and randomly mating population. And this frequency will remain same through many generations. It remains same itself. If there is no environmental forces like mutation, selection and gene flow. This is called the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So what is Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium? It is a mathematical treatment of the distribution of gene frequency and genotype frequency. It's very simple definition. If it came as 1 mark question. Then we are explaining. Suppose we consider a population, a palmity population, that is a randomly mating population. What is randomly mating population? Randomly means any gamete can fuse with any other gamete. That is random mating. So suppose a population is there, large and randomly mating population with a relative frequency of various genes. A is equal to 3, 4B are there and 2C. And this frequency remain the same. That's important. Remain the same over many generations if there is no mutation, no selection or gene flow happens here. That is Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So we are not going to derive that equilibrium. Considering a panmatic population with the gene A and small a with regard to a particular trait or character. So here A individual, how many? What's the number? 1, 2, 3. Capital A, capital A, capital A, capital A, capital A. Small a, how many are there? 2 are there. From these individuals, what is the probability of different types of gametes? From this only chance to have a capital A gamete, from this only small a, and from this again capital A, and here only small a, and from here also a. This is the probability of gametes. Its frequency also same as that of the parent generation. Right. So again I redraw the pictures of those gametes, and then combination happening to give next generation. This one join with this gamete to form AA zygote. This one combines with this gamete to form capital A small a zygote. This again combines with this small a form small a zygote. It's a possible combination form of zygotes out of these gametes. Okay, as a result of that, the population formed from these combinations are such a type. I will show you. What is the proportion? Proportion of AA gene will be of 36%. Proportion of capital A small a will be of 48%. Proportion of small a will be of 16%. And we are taking representatives from each type of genotype. AA is there, capital A small a is there, small a is there. For its next generation, what is the gamete contribution from these representatives? We can give 36% A. From where this 36% came, I will show you right here. We already understand that A is percentage 36. Regarding capital A, small a 48. We need to keep this value in your mind. Small a is percentage is 60. Next, so that's why the contribution from this representative is 36% capital A. From this, since it has two types of allele, capital A and small a is there. So 24% will be of capital A and 24% is of small a, because 48 is its total percentage. That's why we are dividing it equally among the two alleles. And the last one of AA, it can contribute 16% small a to the total gametes for the next generation. Total gametes for the next generation. So the overall output of the gamete, overall output will be 36 plus 24. It gives 60. From where this 36 is the percentage of, I will write here, percentage of capital A 36, and this 24 came from one A is there. Totally A is percentage is 48%, is half is 24. That is 36 plus 24 is equal to 60%. A is there. 60% of the A allele bearing eggs and sperms will be there in the total collection of gametes for the next generation. And coming to small a, again 16 plus 24. 16 we know it is the total contribution of small a. 24. This 24 came from this A. Okay. So 40% of A allele bearing eggs and sperms will be there in the total collection of gametes for the next generation. That about the overall output of gametes. If these gametes unite in random, 60% A and 40% A, then this will be the result. AA means A, its frequency we know 60 into 60. 36 is the frequency of this AA. It is written here, and the offspring also will be AA. Then capital A, small a. A is that of 60 and the small a is 40. And its total gene frequency is 24 with respect to this one. And offspring also capital A, small a. Then small a, capital A. This can be write as 40 into 60, and its percentage also 24% will be chance. And here's AA. AA is combination is like this, and the gene frequency is 16%. And the offspring will be small a. That way, total number of different genotypes is of 3 types. This is one type. These two are of the second type, and small a is the third type. 3 type of genotypes is possible. When we convert the above concept into a mathematical form, we are changing that into a mathematical expression. Frequency of gene A, we can give an alphabet for the frequency of gene A. It is P. And for the frequency of gene small a, we can give another letter, that is Q. If the gene A and gene small a unite randomly, in that condition what way we can write it? That its genotype frequency will be AA. 2AA is there because two types of AA is there. In that tabular column we have seen that. And what A? It can be rewrite in this form. P square. Why? A, 1A is P. So P into P is P square. 2 into PQ. PQ. Q is that of A and P is that of capital A. That's why PQ. Again plus Q square. Q. 2A is there. Q square. That is the genotype frequency. Its expression. At equilibrium, this genotype frequency will stay stable throughout so many generations. Then another explanation is also giving based on theory of probability. Probability of AA individual is another form of expression. Probability of AA individual is P into P because 2A is there, P square. Then probability of 2A individual formation, we can rewrite it in the form of P denotes capital A, Q denotes small a, P into Q. It is two types. So again writing P into Q. That is equal to 2PQ. Probability of AA, Q into Q, Q square. So P square plus 2PQ plus Q square. In the next generation also the same probability continue. Then that expression, again that expression to show relationship between gene and genotype frequency. It is this is the gene from the it contains two alleles P and Q. A have the frequency P, small a have the frequency Q. And to become gene, both these frequency we need P plus Q is equal to 1. Because two alleles constitute one gene. That's why. Then genotype frequency of population. This we already derived in the former slide. P square plus 2PQ plus Q square is equal to 1 square. For an genotype. Then coming to gene. This is 1 square. When considering a single gene, it will become P plus Q the whole square is equal to 1. This is the R.D. Weinberg formula. So simply it is a relationship showing relationship between gene and genotype. Okay, clear. It's very important. So what all factors are there to disturb this equilibrium? Some forces are there, mutations are there, natural selections are there, random mating also there, genetic drift are there, gene flow. All these forces I already explained to you. If any of this happen to that randomly weak population, then this equilibrium will disturb. So if any question come for 4 marks, then you need to illustrate, to give definition, and also need to explain all these factors. Next, going to natural selection. Natural selection, what is natural selection? I already explained to you. Three types are there. Stabilizing selection, directional selection and disruptive selection. First is stabilizing selection. When this type of selection is happening, when intermediate forms are usually preferred, in that condition we can tell that the selection is that of stabilizing. Also the situation, intermediate forms. Intermediate forms means here black cow is there and white cow is there, and these are the extreme conditions. They are not favored. Instead, a gray type intermediate forms are preferred. And in which condition these intermediate forms are usually preferred? Under conditions when environment remain constant. Only in that condition intermediate forms are preferred, supported. Example, human babies. We consider that of human babies, overweight human babies and lower weight babies will not survive. Only medium weight babies can survive well. It's a graph that also you need to show. These are the extreme conditions, and they are not supporting, they are not sustaining. Instead, The intermediate form only the same. Next, directional selection. Directional selection means only it is favoring only particular advantageous selection. Any of the extremities that only is preferred in directional selection. We can see that black is there and white. So yeah, only one extremity is preferring. That type of selection happens in which condition when the environment uh, is undergoing some changes. Under that circumstances, this type of selection is happening. Directional. Any of the extremities. Example, industrial melanism. Industrial melanism at that time, different type, black moths. First, there is only white moths, and as because of industrial revolution, all the tree trunks are filled with some dark deposits. In that background, white moss become very very clear to its predators. So it is causing threat for its existence, and gradually some changes happening in its genotype, and a modified different color forms are forming. And that form, that entirely different colored moth, it is camouflage to its background. Camouflage means it is very difficult to understand this moth from its background. So it can very easily escape from its predator. By that way, its number increases. That means one extremity is preferred against the other because of the environmental changes. That is directional selection. So the graph. Here, one extremity is selected. Not a median, not a another extremity. Only one extremity. Then disruptive selection. Here, both the extremities are favored. Black is there, then the white is there. Both the extremities are preferring. Intermediate is not selected. It's usually unusual. When this is happen, different micro habitat available in same environment, because we are considering pond also. That means if there are a large habitat ecosystem, but inside that habitat itself, so many different micro habitats are available. So if we consider tree as a whole is an ecosystem, but it provides different microhabitat, means tree trunk, then small holes in the trees, leaves, in that way different microhabitat. Under that situation, such a type situation, which type of selection will happen? Disruptive selection. That is the evolutionary significance. Because of this disruptive selection, a common gene pool will divide to two distinct gene pools and later result in the evolution of a new species. Because initially, sometimes there is only one type of gene pool, and because of disruptive selection, from this two two different type of gene pools are forming, and later this become one species, and this will become another. So it's a phase evolution. Which type of selection? Disruptive selection. That is the significance. What is the peculiarity? It increases genetic variability. This disruptive selection. At the same time, it balances polymorphism. It supports existence of both the extremities. In that way, it supports polymorphism. Example: white and tan lymphats. Some type of muscle. Because here both the white colored lymphates and tan lymphates are supported because of according to different micro habitat that exists there. Both the extremities can survive. This is a graph. Both the extremities are favored because of the environment. Environment means that environment different substrate that is suitable for white colored lymphat is there, so it is existing there, and the environment suitable to attach this tan lymphat also available, so that also exists. But for this one there is no such environment, so here both the extremities are existing there. That's about disruptive selection. Okay, by this today we can stop our class. Thank you.